accountant, correct?
Yes.
Town accountant.
That's in addition to the first 10 hours that it took her to do the first part.
Okay, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for putting that together. The next item that we have is action on dedication of town hall conference room. We had brought this up, I guess, oh God, it seems like it was 3 months ago, but at our last meeting, we had brought up, as you know, obviously, we're in our new conference room space, and there were various suggestions that individuals had as to an individual that we may want to dedicate the town hall conference room in their name. Did anybody have any suggestions that they would like to put forward at this time? Yes.
I've had discussions with several people, and I guess the consensus I'm getting is this is kind of premature. I think we need to finish off. There's still some things in the building that need to be done. We should be hosting some type of open house here for people to come in and see. I think we should be doing those things first, and I think we should put this off for a while.
Oh, I was just going to suggest maybe we might want to consider putting it on the ballot so that, you know, give a selection of names and people could choose who they thought the room should be named after. I think, you know, this is a community building. It was put together by a lot of community support. And I think having community input as to who this, you know, if they choose to name this room after someone is appropriate.
So we're gonna name the room across the street and the one over here and the one next door too? I mean, it just seems kind of silly to me to name rooms within a
Yeah.
building.
Well, I think too that the other thing I'm not comfortable about is not having any criteria as to, you know, who qualifies to have a name room, a room named after them.
Yeah.
That was hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, they did it with the playgrounds.
Yeah.
Right, and you do it, we've done it at the schools, John, when I was on school committee. And
Well,
you know,
we had a naming committee, and we did a
So
lot of due
it's-
diligence
It's
on
not
that.
like it's precedent setting. It has been done before. The concern I have about naming a room is that as time goes by, people, you know, forget. And it's like when the new addition was put on, you know, the high school and then the middle school, a lot of those areas were named as part of the original 1957 building. And those were replaced with newer names, with the new building. And, you know, I agreed to, you know, vote for the Eleanor J. Putnam Gym and a number of other rooms that we voted on up at the high school. So I don't think it's precedent setting what we're doing, but I think I would like to see more input, and it's not something we have to rush into.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm aware of a couple instances where buildings were named at universities for living people who were then later convicted of felonies, and it becomes very embarrassing. One at my alma mater, and of course, you know, the stock manipulators who did some time also had funded some buildings at UCLA and a couple, I think there's one at MIT as well. So naming it for someone whose life is not wrapped up,
You must have a headstone in order to
yeah,
qualify.
yeah, I mean, you're
that's
taking
gotta be
some
more
risk
criteria.
that something embarrassing
Yeah.
could happen, so.
Yeah. And I agree that I think it's a good idea to name the room, because it gives particularly this room, not naming all the rooms, but, you know, many times, like auditoriums are named after people, because they are kind of a place to come and gather, I don't want to say in fellowship, but you know what I'm saying, where the community actually comes together to discuss important matters to the town. So I think naming it is good, but again, hopefully, we will be here for a while, so there's not a rush to, maybe longer than the playground, but, you know, hopefully will be longer.
That playground will stay there.
So I agree. So unless anyone has a motion to the contrary, I'm happy to leave this topic for now and move on to the next one.
Yep.
Okay. The next is action on selecting an advisory board member for the Narragansett Regional School District Budget Subcommittee. I believe that the it was reaffirmed at the last advisory board meeting, Kate Fulton and,
You only got, to my understanding, you only get one seat.
Yeah, there's only one. But there's a letter from Ruth, it's the.
Is there a-
Second to the last page in the packet.
The only thing I can see there is something from the
They already
advisory
started the
board
first
about
meeting.
their appointment of Kate.
Yeah, traditionally, there's always been a member of the Board of Selectmen from each town,
Yeah.
as well as an advisory board member. So when was this district policy changed, and why weren't we informed of the change when the change was made, instead of, 2 days after the first meeting?
It looks like it was just changed, doesn't it?
It was just changed, how about that?
yeah. Oh, right, because last year, because I was on the,
Isn't that curious?
yeah, I was on the,
Because I believe I was appointed to this
yes, you
one.
were, you were.
So I'm on a committee that I'm no longer on because of a change due to district policy.
And-
Awesome.
Right, and
That
last year
is
as well, there were
open
two
and
advisory board.
There were two, right, but
From each
one was,
town.
yeah, but who makes these changes, and why aren't we notified of these changes beforehand?
And why don't they want you on there?
Do you think, are you getting that feeling? Because I am getting that feeling. Yes, I am.
Curiouser and curious.
You
It
can be there,
is.
you just can't vote.
I just
Right.
can't vote. Isn't that special?
And I don't understand as well, just because I was on the, because I represented the Board of Selectmen last year on the budget subcommittee, and our meetings had very little, it wasn't like by having a larger voting body that it held things up. There were very few questions that anyone asked. We had our presentations, everyone kind of got the paperwork and nodded, and then we voted at the end. So it's not like by having, that, it was such a boisterous and difficult group to control last year that the number needed to be restricted. Particularly the selectmen issue.
Right.
As well. You would
Yeah.
think that there would be at least one selectman that would be.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed about that because the advisory board is not elected. They are appointed,
Appointed.
we are elected.
Right.
That's really disappointing. I would like to know when and why and where that was changed, why. We
Right.
should definitely have a role in that, period.
Right, I
Period.
mean,
That's,
I
they are
stepped
not
back
elected.
from
They are
open
appointed,
space so
so
that I could spend more
I
time,
will-
because I
I
knew
would
this.
not
this
recommend
time
taking
consuming.
any action on this right now. Until we know
Right.
more. I mean, was this a change before we appointed you, Julie, or?
I was appointed,
She was appointed.
and,
Yeah,
She
right.
was appointed.
Right, she was
I remember.
appointed,
I
yeah.
thought-
you know,
I
we
think it's a
went, we went
good
over the
choice.
committees and which ones we decided we were gonna be on,
Yeah.
and I said I will do this committee.
Yeah, that's,
And,
I,
you
can
know,
we, could we write to them and ask why that was done,
Yeah,
please?
and maybe at what meeting?
Okay.
And at what,
Yeah.
I would like to see that vote
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
right?
I happen to know a school committee member pretty well. I'll inquire as well later this evening.
Well,
as to
thank you, but could we make
Whether
that,
there,
could we
well, I'll make
make
it
it
official as
please?
well,
Thank you.
but just to confirm that there was even a,
you know,
Again, I think that, we are elected. And
Right.
we represent the body of our community,
right.
and we should have a seat on that,
at the table,
absolutely.
yes, otherwise you're on the menu.
Yep. And particularly as well, because we ultimately have to kind of like, we put together the warrant articles for the town to approve, so it would be good to have some kind
We
of,
should be there.
Right,
And
yeah.
it was nice, I remember you would come back and you would report
Right.
from, you're already sitting here, so the member of the advisory board would have to, that just really does not make sense to be there in addition to, because wasn't there two?
there
There were
last
two
year was
advisory
two
boards.
advisory and one
So-
One
selectman.
selectman.
That makes zero sense
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
zero.
So we'll, if
No
we can
action.
inquire as to
Thank you.
when that
I would
happened, yeah.
appreciate that.
Okay. The next item is selectmen's, the next item, yeah, is selectmen's comments, and then we have a vote to go into executive session after that. Julie, do you have anything you'd like to comment on, other than your forced removal from the budget subcommittee?
I didn't say anything, I just, sure, it's just a sin of omission. Actually, there's gonna be a comedy night, February 14th at Camelot, And I think it's $40 a couple, and it's always a good meal, and it's always a good time. And there's also Cabin Fever, which is February 28th, and that's sponsored by the Historical Society. That will also take place at Camelot. And I haven't seen this done before, so I'm not quite sure what it is, but people bring their collections, like if you, I don't know, if you
Oh, I
collect.
just saw something about that.
Yeah, if you collect things, and they're gonna have them on display, and I'm not sure how this all works and stuff, but it should definitely be interesting, so.
Did you have anything you'd like to?
Well, the only thing I'd really like to say is I'm quite happy that we're having our first meeting in the new town hall. I think this is, proven to be a very good, thing for the town. Certainly going to save us a lot of money. Everybody's put in a lot of hard work getting the building ready. Very little cost, other than what, we had budgeted from the savings. So I'm just really pleased that everything has come together and that we're being able to utilize this great building.
If I could just comment on that, there's one item that all of you may not be aware of, and that is, we have some funds in the town building maintenance budget that were moved there from the rental agreement. We took the rental money and moved it over there, assuming that there would be things that would have to get done here. There is money there, and Holly's been working with Home Depot and another carpet person to replace this carpet. So not only because it's unattractive, but it's also a little hazardous. You can see where it's pushed up in places and, might result in someone tripping. And so that'll make the room look much better, I think, when that happens. When do you expect it?
About a week and a half.
Well, maybe our next meeting.
Yeah.
We were moving the carpet tomorrow.
Oh,
wow.
really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No marble, though. No marble,
What?
no marble in here.
It's plywood underneath, and the plywood was glued down to the hardwood floor,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, we would maybe entertain trying to refinish the hardwood floor, but it can't be done, so.
I do have one other quick thing. Capital planning, if the select board intends to bring anything before capital planning, we need to discuss that and prepare what, if anything, we want to put before capital planning. Looks like it's going to be like February 17, 18, and 19 will be the last capital planning meetings before the presentation to the select board of their recommendations on March 9th. So,
Can you send, I don't know if I saved it in my box, like you sent out a thing with a spreadsheet on it.
right, that's of all of the department's capital items that are in the plan.
Can you send that again?
Yeah,
Don't
absolutely.
mind. Thank you. Sorry. I'm sure I can find it somewhere, but
It's easier to have.
I'm
it
having an
sent.
issue with,
It's
I have
actually-
to
it's on
open
the
up my
website.
email in Firefox, and none of the attachments are coming. Like, I got Holly's today, but not something else, so, I mean, I can scan and see, but if you wouldn't mind, then, I
It's
think I
actually
did
on the
have some stuff
website.
in my head, but,
Yeah, it's actually on the website.
Oh, okay.
it's,
On
oh,
the
okay,
capital planning
okay, I
page
can
of
go
the
look at that then, okay,
town
great,
website, it's on there.
okay.
John, did you have anything that you wanted to?
Yeah, I've got a few things. The Templeton Developmental Center Reuse Committee is scheduled to meet this coming Monday. If the weather reports I'm hearing are anywhere near accurate, I kind of doubt whether we will be meeting. The other issue on that is we appointed Beverly Bartolomeo to that committee. She has since been appointed to the advisory board, so she's no longer eligible to sit on that committee. So I'm going to have to find a replacement.
Diane, are you asking, alrighty then.
No, I'm not, we don't have to do anything. today.
Right, well, we'll put it on, we just
But
want
we
to
do
bring it up, so we'll
definitely,
put it on the next agenda.
The bylaw concerning the advisory board specifically prohibits participation.
That's a pretty rude thing,
Okay.
publicly. Yeah.
This is, I guess, this is a historic moment, touching on
last meeting.
Doug's comment, that this is the first time the selectmen have actually met at Town Hall since 1947.
Wow.
Wow.
Decided to.
So we, being Templeton, when the building burned down, we didn't rush into anything.
Wow, 1947.
Yeah.
Wow. Were you at that meeting, Diane?
No.
Okay.
Was Julie? Was Bob? Was Bob? No. Why are you asking me?
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I want to say is, I used to go to a lot of meetings with Steve Hemmon, and I thought, oh, Steve Hemmon knows everybody. But I was at the MMA with Bob Markle. It's Bob Markle who knows everybody.
Do you have anything, Diane?
Yep, I have a few things, a couple things, sorry. First, I just really want to say thank you to the Highway Department and everybody else who has been out there for hours and hours and hours on end for 2 weekends and today and probably for the next few days. And that I've been getting a lot of, I got couple of text messages and I've seen some stuff on Facebook that our roads are better than other people's roads. And that's amazing with a limited staff and faulty equipment that I hear about on the scanner sometimes. I mean, they really, anybody who's been out in the storm, police, fire, everybody, I just really wanted to say thanks. I had sent Bud a couple of, text messages like, thank you so much, and please thank your staff, and I just want to publicly say that's amazing what they do, period, and that we're safer for that. The other thing is I wanted to bring up, and Julie and I had kind of talked about this maybe a month or so, about solar power, and I really would like to just maybe have it on the agenda at some point so we could discuss some stuff. I'd like to see some tips for homeowners on our website. If I remember correctly, on Baldwinville Road, they put some panels on their side of their garage, and there were some delays because you can't necessarily just call a company and say, can you come in and install the panels? There's a process, and there were some rules, and unfortunately, not those rules were followed. So I was like, oh, I think it looks amazing. I think it's the way to go. I think that many homeowners are asking me about this, but there are some tweaks that I think that people should really know about. And I did have a conversation with Phil Sweeney, and I couldn't even retain it all. I couldn't. It's a lot, and then I went to do some research, and I could take days and days doing that, but I think that it would be helpful for us to tell our residents what they can and cannot do before they spend some money, hire a contractor, and then maybe not be able to do something that's important for the value of their home, for their future, all of it. So just really wanted to bring that up. And then I received an email, which Bob, you would have too, from Rich, we all did, and about initial damage assessment. And there are some things that in order for us to receive some reimbursement funds, if you could just make sure, it has to be done by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Some of the departments didn't respond well enough, and they need a lot more detail, so.
Right, that
he
just came into my
he
email
just sent me a message and
at
said. "Can you-"
6:29. so.
Yeah, so I'm like, he just asked me to mention that. That's really
Okay.
all I have, and I hope everybody else is more well than I've been. Really tired of it,
Yeah.
so, thank you.
Sure. And the only thing I have is the is it
The musical.
Is it the middle? Yeah, it's called the musical. It's I don't know. I'm assuming it's a combined production of the
I don't
musical.
know.
But anyway, Susical the musical is at Narragansett School this Friday. Saturday.
Isn't there a matinee on
I
Sunday?
think so. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the lobby of the school looks great, and it should be a good, wholesome, family fun time. And I think that's all that I have. I just everything that I wanted to say regarding highway and has already been said. Just that I've found that with all these snowstorms, as long as I can get off of my driveway, I'm good once I get onto town roads. So, and if there's nothing else, we will, per Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21-6, take a vote if there is a motion, a second, and a vote to do so to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, and I so declare. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Second.
If not, Julie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. So, thank you all for coming.